You've just eaten your evening meal. I wonder how far your food had to travel to reach your dinner plate. This came about 2 corridors and 3 flights of stairs because it's right from our little Anglia allotment at the front of the building.
Delicious. Well, many people are trying to cut down on so-called food miles, no miles involved there, by opting for more locally grown produce. In fact, figures suggest some of our towns and cities here in the east could actually be self-sufficient if only more of us grew our own.
Well, that's the theme of this evening's visit to the Anglia allotment, where Jonathan is waiting for us. Hello, Jonathan.
Hi there, Becky. Yes, good evening. Now, we've always been told we've got to reduce our carbon footprint, haven't we? If you needed a compelling argument, a compelling evidence that we can grow our food closer to home, well, just take a look at this. Here we are at the Anglia allotment, and it's absolutely bursting with all sorts of fruit and veg at the moment. The last time we were here, since then, they've had about an inch of rain, and it's now busting out all over the place. So food miles, that's coming up, but first. Here's what's coming up from the Anglia allotment then over the next few minutes. Martin Stew has a special report looking at food miles, just how far our food can come from currently and just how close it could be. We've a taste test to see which is best. It's allotment versus supermarket. We've some of your emails, including a contender for the biggest sunflower in the region, and I have to say it's not mine. And as well as trying to predict how the weather's likely to change in the east over the next few decades, Amanda will also be here to tell us how it's going to look over the next week as well. So food miles, as I say, the Anglia allotment absolutely bursting at the moment. Raspberries trying to escape all over the place. You'd expect to see those in the allotment. Would you expect to see these? Peaches, I don't say prunes, but peaches, that's what they are. They're not unique to the area. Martin Stew, our correspondent, joins us now, but they are unusual.
They certainly are, Jonathan. And just take a look at these apricots as well. Don't they look fantastic? Now, we've seen this sort of fruit growing in the UK before, but always under glass. And the fact it's not just growing, but flourishing here outdoors is anecdotal evidence, at least, that our weather is changing. And if the predictions that climate change scientists are making are true, our summers are going to get hotter, they're going to get longer, and they're going to get drier. And that's going to have a serious impact on what we can and can't grow here in the east.
Whether you believe it's caused by man or not, our weather is changing and it will affect a farming industry worth £8 billion a year to East Anglia's economy. But that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Being selfish about it, climate change in the next 30 to 50 years is probably a good thing. A little bit warmer will mean that crops will grow, we'll have longer growing seasons, we'll be able to do more with seasonality, we'll be able to grow a wider range of crops.
I set out around Cambridge to see for myself how things are changing. At Chilford Hall, the earlier springs and later autumns have helped them produce award-winning wine.
20 years ago, our fruit was quite acidic and not a lot of sugar in it, but now with that extended growing period, we've got more sugar in the wines and less acidity in the fruit.
Pole Hill Garden Centre's now doing a roaring trade in the Mediterranean.
Back in 1988, olives were a rarity. They're an everyday plant now, more and more popular. People see them on holiday, come back and want them.
There's so much potential. Environmental group East Anglian Food Link say using seasonal food, the 233,000 people who live in Norwich could be fed from a 6-mile radius of the city centre. But for every opportunity, there's a challenge. One is water. With an increasingly unpredictable rainfall, Keith Jordan makes sure he makes the most of it at his allotment in Cambridge.
By watering into a sunken plant body, make sure the water gets down to the roots of the plant and not just on the surface where it will evaporate.
Keith gave me courgettes, raspberries and wild garlic before I made my final stop at the Cambridge chilli farm. And excluding the olive tree, here's what I've collected within 20 miles of Cambridge. The same items from the supermarket have travelled much further. The courgettes from Worcestershire, raspberries from Scotland, chilies from Holland and France, rosé from South Africa, olive oil from Italy and garlic all the way from Argentina. In total, the food has travelled 15,200 miles.
It is ridiculous, and that's the economic system which we've inherited, and we've got to change it. If we stop shipping food miles and miles around the world, we'll save on oil, and in turn, we'll stop putting as much greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, which will prevent the climate from changing as quickly, which will help us grow food in a more sustainable way.
Your food for thought there, and as they say, the proof of the pudding is always in the eating, so we've decided to have a taste test. Not very scientific, but meet our taste selection panel. We've got Martin, we've got Brenda, and we've got Julie from the allotment here. What we've got 3 products in front of you. We've got raspberries, tomatoes and carrots. Some of those are from the allotment, some of those are from supermarkets bought close to here. I want you to taste one, then taste the other, and we're going to find out which tastes the best. It's a taste test. Off we go. Ladies first, I think. Let's go with the raspberries to start off with. Martin, you can follow up with one of those as well. Have we all had one of those? What do we think? Yeah, good. You can move on to the next one there. Try and remember that taste. Sample that one now. Now, I'll just move those off there. So, now, which one do you think tastes the nicest on those? Let's have a plate. We're going for that one. And Martin?
A little bit sweeter, but that's more flavour.
OK, here we go. The allotment, one up. There we are. The allotment, one up to the allotment. Let's move on to the tomatoes. Ladies, again, if you would like to arm yourself with a tomato, that would be great. Martin's gone for the biggest one. There's a surprise. In we go.
Lovely.
Lovely. We've had a couple of lovelies. Now let's move on to these ones over here. Slightly different colour as well. What do we think of these ones, I wonder?
Oh, it's completely different.
Completely different taste? Yeah. OK, so let's have a pointer to the finger. Again, not scientific, but let's just see. Muddling it up. There we go. Just to prove that it is, let's just see it is an S there, just in case you didn't think that we were doing these legitimately. So we had 2 A's so far. Let's see if we can make it a clean sweep. Carrots next. Now, these have come from the allotment, or have they come from the supermarket? We've had a nibble of those ones. You can finish your... All right, let's go on to this one quickly. Right, we need to move quite quickly on this one now. Sorry to force the carrots down.
This one for me. Sweeter.
The supermarket's hit back with one at the end there, but 2 to the allotment, 1 to the supermarket. Very quickly, Julie, why do you think we should be getting our food closer to home?
Well, it cuts down the air miles, like you've said previously, and also my children just enjoy eating what they've picked.
And Brenda?
And it's so lovely and fresh, and you can pick them in their prime and enjoy them.
Ladies, thank you very much indeed for letting us on to your allotment. Well, earlier we saw peaches, we saw apricots. Those are the effect that the climate is having on us at the moment. Now, Amanda Houston, our weather supreme, has been looking to see what difference the weather has had on the changing crops that we're growing now.
We are just a few miles away from the Anglia Allotment at the Wattisham airfield. Now, the Met Office actually have a weather station here, and the forecasters, they're responsible for briefing the aircrew on weather conditions. In charge is a familiar face to Anglia viewers and former Anglia weather presenter Andy Kutcher. So, Andy, everyone likes to talk about the weather. How much has it changed in the region over the decades?
Well, looking back at the central England temperatures, we seem to have gone up by about 1 degree Celsius since the 1970s. And certainly if we come close to home and look at the figures for Wattisham, we've got figures for about the last 50 years, and although it's not a steady rise, you can see that gradually we are seeing those maximum temperatures, which is the line at the top, they are increasing. If we look at rainfall, it's not quite so clear-cut. There is quite a mixture of wetter years and dry years, but we're tending to find slightly drier summers and slightly wetter winters.
And how will that affect our lives?
Well, at the worst end of the scale, if we get another really hot summer like the heat wave of 2003, we are going to have to adapt to that. It's reckoned that there's something like more than 2,000 additional deaths in the UK because of that really hot summer, so we may find that becomes more frequent, maybe every couple of years by about 2040.
And what might that mean for crops?
Well, I suppose if we have wetter and warmer winters, there's going to be problems with disease and pest control. We may also find that we get a rather longer growing season as well. Already, compared to just 7 years ago, I think on average we're cutting the grass about 2 weeks earlier. So in some parts of the country we might find we're cutting the grass the whole year round before too long.
Blimey, some busy people out there. Well, lovely to speak to you, Andy. Thanks very much for taking the time out for us.
Pleasure.
Well, that's the effect of the weather on the crops. I don't think the weather's going to affect one of the allotments that you've been writing into us. This is from Dee Sellers in Northampton, so thanks for this one, Dee. On to these now. Yeah, first example we've ever had of a recycled garden that's been sent in. Dee's repaired and painted everything you're seeing at the moment to produce this absolutely spectacular and wonderful array. Talking of wonderful, let's take a look at some wonderful smiles. Now, these are the happy faces that belong to the Gardening Club at Northreps Primary School. That's near Cromer. Here they are getting stuck in as well. Well done, guys. St Andrew's Primary School in Halstead in Essex. Now, they were one of the very first schools to get in touch at the start of the Anglia Allotment series back in April. Their allotment looked a bit dreary then, but now look at it, absolutely spectacular. The children very keen to show you what they've produced from their allotment. Wonderful stuff, guys, well done. Just want to tell you, there's an allotment open day, Billing Road in Northampton. That's on the 22nd of August. Have a great time from everyone here to there. Now, as I say, if you do want to get in touch with the Anglia Allotment, you hope you know how by now. It's Jonathan and Becky at ITV.com. That's Jonathan and Becky at ITV.com. We've only got 2 more visits to the Anglia Allotment this summer for this series, so get those emails coming in fast. Right, weather time over the next 5 days. Here's Amanda. Goodbye from Amanda, but hello to my new mate. He's looking a bit sad, isn't he? No, regular viewers will remember, of course, that Amanda, Becky and myself have been running a regular sunflower competition. So then, here's how they're doing at the moment, just down the hill from where we are right now. Amanda, still bringing up the rear, I'm afraid, but a sturdy little fella nonetheless. Becky, she was in the lead, but what can I say there? No stamina at all, Jager, by the looks of it. Flagging in the final straight, no less. While my sunflower, a little bit of help from my friends here at the allotment, has to be said, but it does continue to dominate the competition. What a whopper. Well, I thought it was a three-horse race just between the three of us, surprise, surprise, but I'm wrong, because Ian and Anne from Littleport sent us in this huge whopper, 9 foot 6 inches of sunflower, no less. It's not so much a sunflower, it's more of a triffid, Becky. I don't know where you go from there. Just to remind you, 9 foot 6, that is even bigger than that big boy back there. So we've got a bit of a way to go, haven't we?
They're huge. I can't believe the size, that 9 foot one.
Absolutely, but you know Jonathan's plant will be dead, won't it, Jonathan? And Becky's will just shoot up.
No, not true, actually. Mine is still going from strength to strength, yes, but yours, Becky, no sign of anything like this. And that's what you call a sunflower.
All right, thanks, guys. Thank you, Neil.
Now, it was a sight that stopped a few people in their tracks in Southend in Essex. More than 100 people taking part in a naked roller coaster ride.
Yes, the event was organised to raise funds for breast cancer research, but they also broke a world record along the way. Victoria Webb was there.
They were hoping at least 40 people would be brave enough to take part, but more than 100 queued up outside Adventure Island to do something daring for charity. Once through the gates, the clothes came off as these fundraisers prepared for a rather breezy ride, each with their own reasons for taking part.
I have cervical cancer. I've been fighting it since 2008, and I actually I was in remission for a little while, but it's come back. I just enjoy my life now. I was in chemotherapy last weekend, and now this weekend we're having fun. Yep.
After the first group took to their seats, it was time to break the world record. Just 40 naked people sitting on the roller coaster would have smashed the previous record of 32, set in 2004 at Alton Towers. But 102 actually joined in, and they had to run the roller coaster 3 times.
I had breast cancer last year and was treated at Southend Hospital by the breast unit there, and all the staff and they were lovely. They couldn't do enough for you, and it's just my chance to do something stupid, raise money for a good cause.
And between them, they've collected over £22,000 for the Bosom Pals appeal.
The money raised will go towards £750,000 worth of imaging and diagnostic equipment for Southend Hospital's breast care unit.
It's not only the actual mammography machines, but it's also the technology that goes with it to make it operate, and we need it desperately.
If it was just one of us doing it, one person naked, I think it'd be more problem. But now there's so many people naked, I don't think anyone's going to take special interest.
I've had a few people that have had breast cancer and various other cancers, so I wanted to support it. And I'm a naturist, and I've done most things naked, and this is the only thing I haven't done naked, so just had to be done. Loved it, it's brilliant.
It was certainly a memorable day for everyone involved, but more importantly, the hospital's charity is now well over halfway to reaching its target. Victoria Webb, Anglia News, Southend.
Has it gone yet? Has it gone?
Brave people in more than one way, I guess.
And a good cause too.
Yeah.
Well, that's it from us for tonight. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
What a way to finish, eh?
Yeah.
Bye.